topic M2, M3 and M4. In the money supply, there are 4 measures of the money supply. Already we had seen in last video. There are 4 measures of the money supply, that was M1, M2, M3 and M4. In previous video, we already learned about the what is M1. So what is M1? So M1 is currency and coins with bank plus demand deposit of the commercial bank plus other deposit with RBI. We already seen in the previous video. Now we further move on. That next topic is M2. M1 is a very vast concept that is called in money supply. That is the vast concept because 3 elements are there: currency and coins with public, demand deposit of the commercial bank and other deposit with RBI. But when we are talking about the entire money flow system or money supply system, M1 is the narrow concept. But in the practical terms, we are seeing in the market, M1 is a very broad concept. Now move on M2. So what is the M2? M2 is the another measures of the money supply. So M2 is the broader concept of money supply as compared to the M1. Compared to the M1, M2 the broader concept. But why? Why it happens? Because see the formula of M2. So M2 equal to M1 plus savings deposit with post office saving banks. It means M1 is already the part of the M2. Clear? So in M2, M1 already the part of the M2. So M1 is there. It means coins and currency there, public deposit with commercial bank there, RBI deposits is there. All M1, all 3 elements are there. Then plus saving deposit with post office saving banks. This type of savings, listen students, post office saving. What do you mean by the post office saving? In post office, we are just open the saving accounts and different schemes are there. NSC, Kisan Vikas, Rozgar Yojana, different schemes introduced by the government or introduced by the post office schemes. So in post office, if we have the saving account, so what is the difference between that 2 saving account? If I have account in the any bank and if I have the saving account in post office, listen clearly. If this is the SBI and this is the post office, clear? So I have the saving account here also and I have a saving account here also. What is the main difference between these 2 saving accounts? This is my account only, fine? That is also Hetalpurite account, that is also Hetalpurite account. This is both accounts in mine account only. But still in both accounts, that is the basic one difference. That is the in post office saving. If I want the money from the commercial bank, कल ही पढ़ा था हम लोग in the previous video, demand deposit. What do you mean by the demand deposit of the commercial bank? We just withdraw our money with the help of the check. That is about the commercial bank. But when we are talking about the post office, that is this amount is not withdrawn by the checks. Clear? So that is the main difference between these 2 savings accounts. So in M2, M1 plus saving deposit in the saving bank only with the post office saving bank, but not withdrawable by checks. So these type of saving accounts amounts not withdrawn by checks. Saving deposit with post office saving bank is not withdrawable by check. So they could not be placed under the demand deposit. Clear? In M1 we are talking about the DD, demand deposit with the commercial bank. And why we are not talking about this saving account, demand deposit with post office? Because demand deposit, under the demand deposit, that is a very clear picture. If we are talking about the demand deposit, so we withdraw our money with the help of the checks. But in the post office, that is not possible. That's why this type of saving accounts not called the demand deposit. So what is the formula of M2? So M2 equal to M1 plus saving deposit with post office saving banks. But keep in your mind, these type of saving accounts amounts not withdrawable by checks. That's why it is not third concept of the measures of the money supply, that is M3. So M3 is a very vast concept. Why it is a very vast concept? Again, listen, M1 again the part of the M3. So M1 again the part of the M3 means all three elements whatever the M1 having, it is considered as a part of the M3 also, because in M3 we are talking about M1 plus another things. Clear? So first we will see the definition. So this concept is broader as compared to the M1. Definitely M3 is the broader concept compared to the M1. Why? Because M1 is the small part of M3. So M1's all elements are under the M3 included. Clear? In addition to M1, it also includes the net time deposit. Clear? It also includes the net time deposit. What do you mean by the time deposit? You all know the fixed deposit amounts. Clear? So these type of, what is the difference between the DD, demand deposit, and time deposit? Clear? This type of deposit, demand deposit, we can withdraw through the check. But when we are talking about the time deposit, this is for the time period only, 1 year, 2 year, 3 year, 4 year, 5 year, 10 years. So that is the time tenure only. Clear? That is the periods of the deposit tenure is the fixed by the bank or by the post office. We are talking about here only bank. So whatever time deposit bank having, it means the fixed deposit, just like sometimes 1 year, sometimes 2 years, sometimes 3 years, whatever time tenure is mentioned in the deposit time. Clear? So that is the difference between the time deposit and demand deposit. Clear? So M3 equal to M1 plus net time deposit with banks. Clear? Now the next concept is M4. So this measures includes total deposit with post office saving banks in addition to M3. Now keep in your mind, this is the M3. What? This is the M3. And in M3 already M1 is there. Clear? So when we are talking about the M4, so that is the also considered as a M1 is there, net time deposit is there, and other things are also there. So we are already considered M3. So in M3 already M1 is the part of the M3. So in M4 M1 is there and M3. So in M3 all considerable, it means all element of M1 is also there. So if we are talking about the M4 formula, so M4 equal to total deposits with post office saving banks. Clear? This measure includes the total deposit with post office saving banks in addition to M3. That is about the M4. So what is the M4 formula? M4 equal to deposit or time tenure amount also consider here. So in M4, all type of or total deposit with post office saving banks excluding NSC. So in these terms we are seeing that M4 is a very vast concept among the measures of money supply. Clear all four things, M1, M2. When we are talking about the money supply, so what is the formula of money supply? M1 plus M2 plus M3 plus M4. This is about the money supply. Clear? Now, important facts about the measures of money supply. We had seen this. What is M1, what is M2, what is M3 and what is M4. So what is the important facts about the measures of money supply? First, we are talking about the M1 and M4. The four measures of money supply represent the different degree of the liquidity. Clear? The four measures of money supply represent the different degree of liquidity. What do you mean by the liquidity, students? Liquidity you all know. Fine. What do you mean by the liquidity? Which money is regularly converted in cash in hand immediately or fast growth. Right? हमको पैसा चाहिए, वो कैश हमारे पास जल्दी से जनरेट करेगा. That is called liquidity form. So in these four measures of money supply, M1 is most liquid. Why? What is the M1 beta? M1 is currency and coins held by the public. So that is the already cash in hand in our hand. Then demand deposit. So if I want the money, just I withdraw my money with the help of the checks. And another is the others deposit with RBI. That is also the fluctuating money. Clear? So M1 is the most liquid among these four measures and M4 is the least liquid among these measures. Because in M4, that is the clear, M3 plus all type of deposit. So all type of deposit, it is total deposit but all type of deposits. It is not a withdrawal by check immediately. So because time tenure is there, fixed deposits are there, time tenure is there. So that means it is the least liquid measures of the money supply. Now M3 is widely used as the measure of money supply and it is also known as M3 is the most useful in the money supply. When we are talking about the money supply, measure of the money supply, that is widely used in India for the money supply. But M3 is also known as the aggregate monetary resources of the society. Again I am repeating, M3 is also known as aggregate monetary resources of society. Now next, M1 and M2 are generally known as the narrow money supply. That is also known as narrow money. It means it is not a vast concept. And M3 and M4 is a broader concept. Why? Because the time tenure is there, saving certificates also considered there, and fixed deposit also considered in the M3 and M4. That's why M3 and M4 is a broader concept of the money supply, and M1 and M2 is the narrow concept of money supply. Clear? I hope you all are understand about what is the money supply, M1, M2, M3 and M4, and finally what is the formula of money supply? So money supply equal to M1 plus M2 plus M3 and M4. So now today we just complete our this chapter money, and our next chapter is banking. And in economics, that is the one single unit about the money and banking. That is a combined unit. That there are two chapters. First is money and second is the banking. When we are talking about the banking, commercial bank and central bank, we are talking about both functions banks, and what is the commercial bank, what is the central bank. Fine. And what are the functions of the commercial bank and central bank. But in economics, that is a single one unit, and in this, from these units, that is a 8 marks, or these units having the weightage of 8 marks in the examination. So we are just stop our video here with the we are finishing our money concept here.